and welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are introducing our brand new candy hearts dies, and we're also introducing our Sending Hugs line border and our XOXOXO line border. And here is a look at them die cut. I love these so much because it's such a fun way to add a sentiment to a card. It's just really bold and really cool. And then here we have our candy hearts dies, and these are so adorable. They have the sayings of cutie, smile, XOXO, hugs, and I heart you. And then there's a solid heart for layering behind. Now this solid heart, what we did was we made it just the tiniest bit hair smaller so that it's really easy to layer behind. You don't have to worry about any of that white peeking out from the sides of your heart. So I love how easy this is to use and just how cute they turn out. And it's such a great way to layer behind and add some bold color to all of the words, and you can obviously change your colors, kind of mix and match them around. So now it's time to create a card with these. So I'm going to die cut a bunch of these hearts out of this is mermaid cardstock, and then some guava cardstock, some sticky note cardstock, and some ballet slippers cardstock. And I think this looks really cool because they kind of look like those conversation hearts candies. I'm also going to die cut a bunch of hearts in the white cardstock there so that I can layer behind and color those words in white. And so there we're going to go ahead and add some little liquid glue to the back of those hearts and then layer that little piece of white cardstock behind to color in those letters. And we can repeat that for all of these. So you can see just how adorable these are. So I'll just add a little bit of liquid glue and layer it on, and then layer on my cutie one. Now, when we layer the XOXO one, there's also the little centers for the O. So there's two ways you can use this. One way would be to just layer it on the way we are going to be now and just leave those O's completely open. Or you can add in the centers of the O's, which is what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to take those little tiny centers there, add a little drop of glue, and then just layer that right in the middle. And I like to use my little pokey tool here or anything sharp to kind of help me put it in the correct placement. So I just kind of dropped it on there, and then I'm going to move it around until it looks perfect. And then I'll just drop in that other little O center. So you can do two different looks with these. I think my favorite is when the little center is in the O. And now you can see all of these cute candy hearts finished. So next up, I'm going to die cut my Sending Hugs line border, and I'm going to die cut it 5 times because I'm going to stack these on top of each other to create a dimensional sentiment. So I'm going to add little tiny drops of glue and just kind of go around the letters towards the bottom and towards the top of the letters with little tiny dabs of my glue tube there. And then I can layer my die cut on top of that and then repeat the same thing. So add little tiny drops of glue and then layer my next piece. And by stacking all of these, it gives us this really cool dimensional look that really makes it look like this kind of cool accessory that's been added to your card. So right here I'm trimming down some white cardstock to 5.5 by 4.25, and I'm going to take some post-it note tape and use it as a mask. So I'm using the grid lines on my mat as a guide to line it up and cover up the bottom inch of my card. Then I'm going to do some ink blending on it. So this is some tumbled glass distress oxide ink, and I'm going to pick up some of that ink with my foam ink blending tool and slowly sponge it off, coming up from that masking tape there, that post-it note tape, and going onto the card. I want it to be darker towards the bottom and then lighter towards the top, so much so that it's going to blend out into white. So what I'm going to do is build up my color along the bottom to make sure I get a nice bold color at the bottom, because I really want a nice kind of stark line right where that masking tape is. And then I'm going to go up and make it really nice and light up into the top part of the card. After we're done adding that color onto this card base, we're going to use a distress sprayer to spray some water on there to create texture. So I'm going to spray a bunch of water on there and then let it react with the ink and use a paper towel to blot up any of the excess water, and I'm going to repeat the same thing again. It's really subtle on camera, but it adds a little texture and really helps that kind of blending out into nothing look even better because the texture kind of makes it imperfect, which is a really cool look. And now my favorite part is removing the masking tape. I don't know why, but I love this so much. It always looks so cool when you peel it up. I'm creating a standard size card here at 5.5 by 4.25, and we're going to add some just tape runner there to that piece that we ink blended earlier and layer that onto the card. Then we can start to add all of our die cut elements. And I love this because it's a completely die cut card. So I'm going to add a bunch of little drops of glue on the back of that stacked sending hugs, and we're going to layer that right between the line of the blue and the white. So I really love that look. I think it's really cool. And then we're going to add the dot for the eye. So what I'm going to do is add one dot and then stack up the layers on my card, because that was a little bit easier to do with such a tiny piece. So I can add a little bit of glue and then stack each of those layers up until I have 5 of those dots. We're also adding some foam squares to the back of those hearts to kind of make them pop up from the background. And I'm going to layer them so they're all kind of layered and going in different kind of directions. And I think it looks so super cute. Now next up, for some little sprinkles on the card, I've die cut the new polka heart backdrop of white cardstock, and I saved the little hearts. Used some hearts from the scallop boxcard pop-up and hearts from the heart treat box to cut a bunch of different sizes of hearts. And really, you could use any of the hearts in your stash. Just get a bunch of different sizes of die cuts, and we're going to add these all on here kind of the same way that you would add little sequins or little gems. And it's such a cute look with all of these tiny little hearts. I'm just going to add them all around the card, mixing up the sizes from tiny, medium to large. And I just think it's so adorable, and how they kind of blend into the background at the top is really, really pretty. Thank you so much, Kay, for letting us recreate this card for the video. Now next up, we're going to be making another card here, and we're going to create a 4-bar card base, which is 3.5 by 4 7/8. And we're going to be using one of my favorite paper collections ever, and that's really Rainbow. And this is one of my favorite papers from it because I love those bold rainbow stripes. So we're going to cut that down to be the same size as that card base and layer that right on top. Then we're going to take that XOXO candy heart die, and we're going to die cut some pixie dust sparkle cardstock, and that's going to make it so pretty and glittery. So we're going to die cut 3 of these. And then we're going to die cut the XOXOXO line border out of some black cardstock, which I think is going to look so nice and bold on this whole rainbow background. So we're going to add a little drops of liquid glue on there and layer that right onto our card base. And then we can trim off any of the excess so it looks like it's going from edge to edge of the card. Now for the backs of the hearts, we're going to use the solid heart die from the candy hearts. We're going to die cut a bunch of narwhal cardstock and then add some liquid glue to the back of these candy hearts, and then we can layer the narwhal there. So in this case, we've got kind of a lighter colored heart, and we're coloring in the letters with a darker color of cardstock. So I love how it looks really, really cool either way. You can kind of use your imagination and have it really coordinate with your project. We're also going to add in the little centers of the O's to all of these XOXOs. And then we can use some foam squares to layer these hearts onto the cards. And this is a really clean and simple card. Those foam squares really add a kind of a nice pizzazz when you see them on there. And then last but not least, to add a little extra sparkle, we're going to layer some sequins onto this card. And I love how Shari always does this. She decides where her sequins are going to be placed on the card. Once she has them on there, she's going to use her tweezers to pick them up, add a little drop of glue, and then add that sequin right back on. And that glue dries clear, so you're never going to see the glue behind it. And this is a great way to make sure that you're keeping them in that exact place that you want them. And so now the card is all done, and it's absolutely adorable and such a happy, sweet, fun card. Next up, we have some gorgeous cards by the design team, and I love how Elise layered all of these hearts, creating her own custom background. It's so gorgeous. Here, Audrey used the new polka heart backdrop, and then she added a bunch of our cute little mice behind them. It's just so sweet. I love it so much. Shari got really creative and created balloons out of her hearts, and she's got our cute little raccoon holding them. It's such a cool and unique way to use these dies. And then here, Melissa layered our candy hearts dies onto our heart treat box. So make sure to check out the intro to heart treat box video to see how to do this. Then next up, we have a super fun card by Melissa. I love her awesome rainbows and how she added that cute little teddy bear on there. It's so sweet and fun. And then this layout by Melissa, oh my goodness, how gorgeous is this? I love how she kind of strung the hearts up as if they were in a little banner. It's so beautiful and goes so perfectly with her cute pictures. I love how Shari layered her hearts over this rainbow paper. It's so happy and fun. And then this card by Lynette is so cute. Oh my goodness, I love the whole rainbow theme we have going on with these candy hearts. It's just adorable. This is the card by Kay that inspired us to make our card today, so thank you so much, Kay. And then this card here is by Yainea, and I love how she added our cute little stinking cute skunk there at the bottom. It's so sweet. And then this card here by Letitia is so cool. I love how she inked those hearts on the background with the new polka heart backdrop. And this card is so sweet. I love how Elena used the Critter Concert characters in a Valentine's Day card. So I cannot wait to see what you guys do with these new dies, so make sure to share it with us. Thank you so much for watching today and have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!